What is going on, everybody? Welcome back on Into Philly Take with RB. Today we are joined by a very special guest. That is right. We have current Philadelphia 76ers power forward, aka the Minivan, Georges Niang. George, thank you so much for taking time to join the show today, man. How's everything going?
It's good. It's good. Everything's going well. Just taking it one day at a time here, and focusing on what's ahead of me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. And, obviously it's been really a wicked season so far. You guys start out 8-2 on a hot stretch. A lot of people start to talk about this team as really catching the fire. And then you guys go into an outbreak. Then it's kind of been up and down since. And just as of recently, you were the latest guy or one of the latest guys to go into health and safety protocols, as we're now pretty much experiencing a second outbreak. But overall, how are you feeling both physically and mentally? Are there any symptoms weighing you down?
To be honest with you, I actually feel great. I've had a couple of days to, relax, rest, whatever you want to call it. I had mild symptoms, if that's what you want to say. We had gotten in super late to Memphis, so I honestly just thought what was happening was just a case of me being super tired from getting in late. And then when I tested positive, I think, obviously your symptoms kick in and you realize how tired you are. And after like 2 days, I was feeling back to normal and, itching to get out, and test negative and get out of quarantine. Obviously, mentally, it's frustrating. Obviously, when something you do on a day-to-day basis is taken away from you and you kind of just have to sit at home like a couch potato, which is tough. But I think, the overall morale of our team is realizing that, we're going to get through this. We have a next man up mentality. Obviously we had a big win in Boston, but, moving forward, I think once we know we get all of our guys back, we know, we're a tough team for other teams to beat. And, we're looking on growing and getting better each day.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you're doing well. We're hoping to get you back out there soon. I know it's almost been a week now, and, the NBA said today that, they're not really planning to stop any part of the season. So, like you said, next man up, we got to get going. But just as, kind of an intro here, obviously the nickname Minivan has been a huge thing here amongst us Sixers fans. And for those who may be listening that do not know the backstory, kind of enlighten us on the origins of the nickname Minivan.
So when I was in Utah, we were playing the Brooklyn Nets, and we were beating them pretty good. And I had opportunity at the end of the game. I wasn't playing that much, and I got at the end of the game after sitting a while, and I had a chance to go baseline and dunk it. And I kind of just laid the ball up with the net or over the rim. And my teammates came back to the locker room like, "Yo, what the heck was that?" And I was like, "Whoa! Like, listen, I know you guys are all Ferrari engines, but I'm like a minivan. I need a couple laps around the block before I get to maximum speed." So it kind of took off from there, and one of the sideline reporters caught wind of it, and then after that, that was all she wrote.
Dude, I love it. So obviously there's been a lot of talk about kind of your story, and you had to lose weight after you suffered a bad injury. But do you think being this type of player, like, has this always fit your type of role? Like, are you always kind of the odd man out, but you find your way within a team? Because that'll kind of get into what I want to discuss. But, I think you're a guy that kind of fits your role perfectly. You find ways to make things happen on the court.
Yeah, I think the best thing you can be as a player is self-aware, knowing what you're capable of and what you're not capable of, and kind of staying in that realm and shining at what you do great, and, being neutral at what you don't do great. And those are huge keys for me. I think everywhere I've gone, I've kind of prided myself on being a winner and doing the little things that kind of help my team win. Personal accolades aren't really something that really get me too excited. I'd much rather have a team victory. But I think for me, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades guy. If you need me to dribble, if you need me to shoot, if you need me to pass, I'm willing to do all those things just to make sure that, we're winning games. There's no, I only do this or I only do that. I think those types of players are selfish, and, those guys don't ever really win. So therefore, being here has been great. I've been asked to do a bunch of different things, wear a bunch of different hats. Um, Obviously, we started off really hot. Then, like you said, we got hit with that outbreak. So, trying to figure out, how we can get our guys back in the groove and on the court at the same time is another battle that we're fighting. But I think, when it's all said and done, we're gonna have a very, very successful year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I want to go to something you said there about, just being a winner, that winner mentality. I'm sure you've had kind of some time here to reflect on your season so far. We're 30 games in, 31 games actually. And, with the way that you have entered this team and pretty much, this whole season in general, like we have some new faces, but I feel like when guys come to Philadelphia, they kind of just either get it or they don't. And what I mean by that is the culture, the fan base, there's a certain feel to it. And when I watch you or, even when you're on social media or just in general, like your flair, I feel like you are a player that gets it, right? So pretty much what I want to know is, did you know a lot about the Philly fan base, the Philly style before you came here? Was that kind of a determinant in your decision at all?
I think it's funny because when I was with my last team, we were staying at the Four Seasons, which is probably one of the nicest hotels in all of the NBA here in Philadelphia. And you just get you. If people don't know where the Four Seasons is at, it's right in Center City, and you can see literally North Philly, South Philly, West Philly. You can see
Right.
over to Camden, like you can see everything. And I remember telling one of the guys, I was like, man, if this doesn't work out, you know what I mean? Like I could definitely see myself like here, just because like you look at the hardworking people, that every day waking up, FedEx person, post office person, you know what I mean? Mailman, like everyone just kind of finding their way to do their job during the day. And then at night, it's like, all right, now everyone's passionate about Philadelphia sports. Like it's the Sixers, it's the Phillies, it's the Eagles, or it's the Flyers. And I think the biggest thing for me is I'm a Northeast kid. I was born and raised in Boston, so I kind of get how the mind frame of a Philadelphia person, or a Northeast person works. You know what I mean? Like I work my ass off all day. I want to sit down and watch my team kick ass and do well. And when I go see a game, I don't have all that much money to spend. So when I go there, I want to see them give it their all. And I think that's something that, a lot of us in this locker room pride ourselves on, is that waking up every day and putting our hat on and having that mentality where like, hey, we don't know who's going to come see us play tonight. We don't care who we're playing, but we're out here giving it everything that we got to make sure that we're going to come out on top. And I think it's a mentality that a lot of players, kind of shy away from, mainly it being, this is a job, this is a grind, this is a profession. So sometimes they look at it where it's like, I'm not feeling it today. I don't want to give everything that I got, when realistically a city like this fuels off your energy, off you coming out every day and giving it everything that you have. And like I said, this city being fueled off us, we're fueled off this city, the passion that they actually care. Like that's the best part, is they care. Like they don't care if you're injured or this or that. They want to see results. And I think when you put so much work and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into a craft, you want people that are cheering you on, to be as passionate as you are, and they definitely are that.
Yeah, I really like that. And especially when it comes to someone like you, your game, I feel like, even if you're having an off night, if you're struggling, going through a tough stretch, the thing I like about players like you is that you always find a way to kind of make your presence felt, right? You're hopping in the game, you're getting in somebody's ear, you're diving for a loose ball, you're jawing, pumping up the crowd. And Philadelphia loves players like that. So have you always been that type of guy? Are you the loudest one on the court, the guy who's going to talk his stuff and then go up at the end of the game and shake his hand? Have you always been that guy, or has Philly kind of even embraced that more out of you?
I mean, I think in certain cities it's kind of more embraced. I mean, obviously, some cities wouldn't like someone that with my type of edge or flair that is always running his mouth. Some cities may be like, hey, stop talking so much and actually do something on the court. But I think the biggest thing for me is I know where I'm at. I know the energy that I need to bring on a day-to-day basis. And the best part is that I'm in a city that embraces that. I'm in a city that embraces tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar, gritty guys where I may not be the most talented, but I'm going to be in your face the whole night, and whether you like it or not. And that's for, my own personal gain, to help me get going, to help my team get going. And that all starts with energy. I'm big on giving off great energy and a lot of electricity. When I come in the game, I pride myself on doing that.
Yeah, I love that, man. And kind of transitioning to the basketball standpoint, like you coming in this off season, obviously, you've discussed before how, you developed a relationship with Doc Rivers, some of the other guys on this squad. But overall, I feel like you were very underrated as a player. You've been in the league 6 years, and you've had one hell of a journey. So finding your way to Philadelphia, Doc Rivers in training camp, I remember him talking about you the first day. He said that you were free flowing, you were playing smooth, you're a high IQ type of individual. Has your opportunity and your relationship with Doc Rivers, was that pretty much the reason why you decided to come into Philadelphia, when you saw kind of that increased expansion of a role and, in terms of that opportunity, is that, kind of what expedited your trip to Philadelphia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that you can get a head coach on the phone during free agency to tell you how he feels about you and how he thinks you can be valued, and then the opportunities that he spoke of were true. I mean, he's put me in all those positions. It's given me a chance for me to really develop my career moving forward. And I'm super thankful for him. I'm super thankful for that. And I'm super thankful for the Sixers organization, to allow me to come in here and be me, not limiting me or telling me what I can't do, but just letting me be me. And, obviously I have a high basketball IQ. I can make plays for others, shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor. So it's been great for me. And I think the best part is I've been embraced. And when you go to a new city, you never know what's going to happen. They can hate you, they can not really like you, or you're just another guy in the shuffle. But to be like fully embraced with everything that I am and what I bring, I couldn't have asked for a better fit. And like you said, I mean, obviously knowing what I was getting myself into in Philadelphia, along with Doc Rivers, is the reason, why I'm here today.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, especially when you look at your season, right? You're averaging a career high. You're playing more minutes than you've ever played by, I think, 7 or 8 more per game. And obviously the Sixers were looking for a backup for a long time. That was definitely an area of need. We were trying to address it. And when you were signed here, I feel like it was more of the unknown. What is this guy going to bring? But the fact that you just came in here and embraced your role, and honestly, you're one of the most consistent bench players on this squad, and you've done a lot for this team. So I'm really excited. But as you continue to kind of man that second unit, where do you think the depth of this team is right now?
We have a ton of depth. We have guys, 1 through, 15 that can play. I mean, as you see in these games where we're shorthanded, 3, 4 guys in a rotation, we can have guys out there play 20 minutes that weren't playing at all 2 nights before that. And when you have guys, I've been on other NBA teams, when you have guys that can step in and play roles and not be out there and continuously making mistakes, you have a lot of depth. It makes for a ton of highly competitive practices and guys constantly being pushed, knowing that if you're not playing consistently, we do have guys further down the bench that can take your spot. So it's motivation to come in every day to work, to continue to grow. Obviously, when you talk about depth, we have a bunch of guards. Obviously we have Joel, Andre, Charles Bassey. We have guys that can play multiple positions, which is perfect. So, if a point guard goes down, we can have a shooting guard fall into that role. We can have a small forward play a little bit, a couple of minutes at the power forward spot. We have very multi-dimensional guys, which is pretty huge in the NBA.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And if you had to say, in terms of Georges Niang, the basketball player, like what makes him so valuable to a team, whether it's on the floor, maybe even in the locker room? What is it about Georges Niang that, you try to bring to every single place you go?
You just know what you're getting. You're going to get a dude that's going to be a motherfucker, that's going to come in every day and work his ass off and, come in and give everything that he's got on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to worry about what am I getting from George today. You're going to get a ton of energy on a day-to-day basis, and a guy that you can count on to make shots and do things the right way and be a true professional day in and day out. Other than that, the rest are, I can't tell you how many shots I'm going to make on a nightly basis, but I can tell you that I'm going to bring it every single night.
Yeah, I love it, man. So, you've mentioned Joel Embiid a couple times. I want to get to your views on playing alongside Joel. He's one of the most dominant big men. You talked about the win in Boston. So at the time of recording this was last night. Joel Embiid was just freaking ridiculous. 41 points. I'm sure you had a blast watching it. I know you were on Twitter talking about us being witnesses of the process. It was hilarious. But overall, you get to see the ins and outs. You get to see the day-to-day stuff of Joel Embiid. Just kind of take me through, what is it about Joel Embiid that just makes him not only an unbelievable talent, but just an amazing dude and an amazing player in that locker room?
Joel gets it. He understands. I don't want to say the pressure because I'm not sure that he feels pressure. He understands the magnitude of what he has at his fingertips. The opportunity for him to be the face of a franchise, to bring a championship to a city that is, definitely embraced him. I think he understands that, and we've talked about it time and time again. Philly fans, they care, and I think that's what drives Joel on a consistent basis. Is he wants this so bad for himself, but he also wants it so bad for them, and you can see it in his work. He's a diligent worker. He may not be loud all the time or have the most energy, but he's working towards the goal of bringing a championship to Philadelphia, and that goes into every second of every day that he's out there. And I think that's amazing when you have a superstar player that is that bought in to bring a championship to an organization and doesn't care about his own accolades. He wants to find ways to be better, to win. And then you talk about his game. I mean, you talk about a guy that is 7 foot, but has moves and shimmy shakes and footwork like a guard, and can handle the ball, can shoot it. He's honestly just an unreal talent. Where you can post him up, or you can have him dribble the ball up and shoot threes or drive past people. He's a mismatch nightmare. And like I've said before in different platforms, when you have someone on the court like that just demands a double team just by stepping foot on the court, that makes life a lot easier for guys like me, for Furkan, for Shake, Tobias, Seth. It just makes for there's constantly being a rotation for the defense, so you're playing against a defense that's at a disadvantage.
What was Georges Niang thinking last night? I know you were, like I said, you were having a blast on Twitter. What were you thinking when Joel goes down the stretch, hitting shot after shot after shot, and then he hits the dagger, the step back almost from the corner over Marcus Smart and Ennis Freedom? What were you thinking at that moment?
Man, I just thankful that you have a guy like that in your locker room. I mean, you could go your whole career in the NBA and never play with someone that's that dominant. Like we're talking about, like, there's superstars, there's guys that have been nominated for all-stars, and then there's that top tier where it's like, I know when I give him the ball, either we're getting a good shot or he's making a shot where someone would be like, oh, that's tough. And that's a shot that he makes on a consistent basis. And that's what he did. I mean, you talk about why guys get paid what they do, why the pressure on them is so high, because in those moments, you look at them like, hey, I'm going to give you the ball, like, take us home, put us on your back. And that's a moment where Joel, yeah, got you. Yeah. What's next? And not phased, not over exuberant, like, this is what you guys expect of me. Like that's why I tweeted what I tweeted. Is like, we're all witnesses to the process, because right before your eyes, like, Philly, you've seen this guy from a young college kid to turn into this man that is, taking on so much responsibility, taking on so much pressure, failed, succeeded, failed, and kept getting up, not just for him, but for a whole city. Like when you realize that you have a whole city to take care of, I think that's when Joel performs at his best. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's another one that really just has embraced Philadelphia from the day he got here. And, I like when he comes out and is vocal, not even just about him as a person, but, about his play, right? He comes out a couple weeks ago. He says, I'm the closer. I want the ball with the game on the line. I want to go out and hit the shot. Do you think he's the long-term closer of this team? When everybody's over there on the sidelines or drawing up the final play, Doc's telling you guys what to do. Is it like we all trust in Joel, let him go get a bucket and we live or die with it?
I mean, it's a pretty loaded question. I mean, it depends game for game, but if we're talking about who's our guy and who we want getting the ball, yeah, I think that'd be a stupid answer if I said anybody else other than Joel. I mean, sometimes that's not how the game plays out. Sometimes, you're reliant on guys that, you want to take the last shot, but something happens, a double team, and they have to find another guy to take a shot. That's how the game goes. But
right.
I think you want to have a lot of things circled around Joel. He is, I am him. He is him. Like that. That's where you want your beginning to be, your middle, and your end.
Yeah. I just think it's unbelievable sometimes the things he is able to do at his size. Like they're just never seen before. I mean, his athleticism is just, it's unbelievable. It really is, like you said, for a 7-foot guy. But let me ask you one last thing about Joel, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I have to here, but is Joel Embiid the best talent you have ever played alongside?
Yeah, I would say, pound for pound, skill for skill. I mean, we're talking about, I know the word unicorn has been used with Kristaps Porzingis, but we're talking about a guy that can score anywhere around the hoop, has footwork like a guard, has, handle like a guard, can pass, is constantly double teamed. And even though he's reliant on people to feed him the ball, he can get the ball in his spot after getting his own rebound or getting a rebound on the defensive end. And then you talk about a guy that anchors a defense. I mean, he does it on both ends of the floor. The fact that he's so good offensively takes away from people seeing how great he is defensively, which is unfair. But at the same time, it's like he does get the accolades that you would want on the offensive end. I don't think I'm blessed to play alongside with a talent like Joel, and I don't know if I'll ever play alongside someone as talented and dominant as a Joel ever. So, I definitely take every day and appreciate it. I don't take it for granted, that's for sure, because like I said, like we're all witness to this. Don't if he has a bad night, don't hate. Don't throw shade, because this is all a part of the growth of one of the best basketball players or big men you'll ever see. So enjoy that.
Yeah, I love that answer. I really do. But obviously this team, right, there's also been a lot of off-the-court drama this year, and, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't even at least ask you about it. So, obviously there's all this drama, especially with Ben Simmons and everything going on. But I view it as this team can either go one of two ways. They can either turn and make excuses, or they can kind of use this to galvanize the troops, go out there. And it seems like when things are clicking for you guys, it seems like there is a bond that hasn't been there per se in previous years. Like you guys are all connected. It seems like, everybody's vocally supportive. Like everybody out there is having a lot of fun. So, what would you say kind of the mindset is of this team right now? And what's the everyday chemistry like in that locker room?
I think we have great chemistry. I got here, I think it was 3-4 months ago, and Tobias Harris, Joel, Seth, Danny, Tyrese, all those guys do a great job of bringing us all together and keeping this a close knit group. Obviously, you mentioned some of the stuff that that's happened off the court. But at the end of the day, I think all of us have realized we can't control any of that. We're going to come in and, all right, who's playing today? all right, how can we figure out ways to win games with who's dressing up tonight? Whether if that's with injuries, COVID, personal issues, um, we got to come on and do a job and do it together. And our goal is to win games. At the end of the day, we're all here to win games. We're not here for anything else. So we come in every day and we enjoy working with each other on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's the best part, when you can come to work every day and enjoy who you're working next to. Life is easy. And I think we've done that. Obviously, we've had our ups and our downs. Um, but we're not here to make excuses. I mean, we're here to continue to get better each and every day. And we feel, yeah, we may be, 500 or just above 500 right now, but what we're working towards is towards the end of the year. And we're working towards getting a little bit better every single day. And I think, we've done that.
Yeah. Do you think there is maybe any, or has there been any during the season, like lack of focus due to any of the, surrounding noise, or has it kind of just been like you said, we're going to do what we have to do, and honestly, we let the rest play out and kind of see what happens? Like, is that the message from Doc Rivers to this team every night?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's distracted, by anything. I think the biggest distraction has been COVID. I mean, we were 8-2, and Joel gets COVID. I
Right.
mean, then we have injuries, and then you have another COVID outbreak. I think it just shows the perseverance of our team. That no matter who's suiting up, no matter who's out there, what guys we have, who we have to bring in, we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to fight, and we're going to go out there and find ways to win games. It may not be the prettiest, but we're going to get it done.
Yeah. And I think the only way to go is up from here. I think as we get healthier, like you said, I mean, we've had 2 outbreaks now, which is insane, but hopefully we get these guys back together, get you guys, under your feet playing more together. But in light of everything that has happened this year, there's been guys stepping up. And I want to ask you about 2 players, Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle. To me, those are 2 of maybe the best young players in this league. You have Matisse Thybulle, a defensive wizard. I say that he sees plays before they happen. Like, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about what it's like to go up against Matisse in practice. And then, with Tyrese Maxey, just his level of poise as a 21-year-old kid is just, it's very remarkable to me. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about those 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely start off with Tyrese. I think he's been tremendous. I think when you have a young kid that was in the rotation or out the rotation and then has to come in and start and kind of has had to figure it out as he goes, and he's done a tremendous job. When you look at his numbers, has all-star point guard numbers. I mean, the guy's
Right.
averaging 17 points. I don't know how many rebounds or how many assists, but I know that they're up there, and he does a consistently good job or great job of, getting us into our offense, being able to score, being able to break down the defense and get everybody involved. And that's not easy, being as it 3 years ago, he was in high school. So the fact that he's matured right in front of our eyes, and I tell him this all the time, this time right here is so important for his development that he's learning it in year 2 rather than having to play a smaller role and learn it in year 3 or 4. This is going to be huge for his NBA career, and I can't wait to see where it takes off to, because the kid comes in and works every single day, and he's a joy to be around. He's never had a bad day. So I love that kid. I love the energy that he brings, and I'm excited to see what his future holds for him. And then Matisse, you talk about a guy that, you knew he was a defender when you weren't on his team, but now that I'm on his team, I'm like, whoa, like he really has the intangibles to be the best defender in the game. I mean, you talk about someone that can go out and guard probably 1 through 3, maybe even 1 through 4, and just be a menace with his, size, his athleticism, his ability to react to the ball. He just has great instinct, and you can't teach those things. And he's constantly aware, when he's guarding guys, what little tricks and what little things he can do to defend or to be a defender. And he's constantly working. And I think the thing with him is he's underrated, offensively, especially with his IQ. He does a good way of, has a good way of sliding around the defense to find little holes in the defense to get dunks, layups, wide open threes. We're very lucky to have both those 2 young stars.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And, I feel like these are things that just come with time, especially with players like those 2. They have a lot of upside going forward, and I'm excited to see how those things get worked on. Another thing I wanted to ask you was, obviously you had talked about a week ago on a podcast, and I feel like a lot of what you said got misinterpreted in one way. You talked about Doc Rivers and something about practice and pretty much saying how, things are kind of relaxed during the season. And I feel like a lot of people took that the wrong way. So I just want you to kind of tell the people what you were trying to say.
You want me to clear the air on that?
I would love you to clear the air right here, just so people know and don't overreact about it.
I mean, I said that in the midst of we had a 13-day road trip and a 9-day road trip. And those have pretty much been our games. And people got all up out of sorts. It's like, first off, we had injuries, we had COVID, so we couldn't practice. And we were on the road for 22 out of the 27 days in between November and December. And people kind of just ran with it. I was kind of making a joke. But we do practice. Guys are in the gym every single day. That has nothing to do with guys not making shots or making shots. Guys take their job extremely serious. We're professionals. At the end of the day, you got to show up and do your job. I shouldn't even be talking about it, but it's more or less just all right, if that's how you guys feel. But when we do practice, we get after it. Doc is demanding and he wants perfection. And that's why he's an all-time coach and a Hall of Fame coach, because he demands it and he's going to get it or you're not going to play. So you can pick that or you choose. And I think, our overall growth as a team is we're continuing to grow, we're continuing to get better, and we're continuing to find ways to win games. The fact that, we can go into last night and be down. I looked at the injury sheet and it was wow, but we can be down and still figure out ways to win. That just speaks volumes to our organization, our players, our coaching staff, and having all of us prepared.
Yeah, it was a sensational win for sure. And, I'm glad that you kind of, put that out there so people understand what you were trying to say. One of the last things I want to ask you about is, obviously there's a lot of uncertainty with this roster, going forward. Who knows how this team may shape up in a couple months, but as of right now, do the Sixers in your eyes have enough? How do they stack up amongst the competition in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, I would never say that a team that I'm on doesn't have enough. I think we have more than enough. I think here's the thing that people don't understand is it takes a lot of luck to win an NBA championship. You look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they were a size 16 shoe that Kevin Durant wears away from going home, right? And that's the type of luck that you need. You just want to have enough talent to get you in the first round, win the first round, win the second round. And then from there on out, the last, 4 to 8 teams, it's luck at that point. You need guys to get hot. You need guys to stay healthy. You need maybe another team to be in a little bit of a funk. And that's what you need. And you want to get hot at the right time. Do I think we have enough? Absolutely. I wouldn't second guess that at all. I definitely think we have enough. And when we were starting off the season 8-2, people weren't riding us off then. Teams go through their ups and their downs, but at the end of the year, it's the end product that you're focusing on, and how can we be better and be playing our best when it's April, May, and June.
Yeah, definitely. It's a long, grueling season, but like you said, this team has shown a lot of good this year, and I don't want people to forget that as we kind of carry, going forward. But before we get out of here, obviously you started a podcast recently with Lauren Rosen called The Big Niang Theory. So kind of take us through the idea of that, how it came about. Are you a podcaster in terms of interest? Have you, always enjoyed podcasting, or how is that going for you?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed podcasting. I started one in Utah. I've done a couple. So I just kind of wanted to keep that going. I've always had interest in, this field and getting to know other people and then just talking shop. You know what I mean? I've always been someone that, likes to talk talk shop, hang out, you know, in a relaxed environment, get to know other people, and share that with the world. So the Big Niang theory has dropped. Our episode with, you know, Furkan Korkmaz just came out. We have a couple more getting ready to be pushed out, but it's just something that's chilled, relaxed, good vibes, and, you know, just want people to, you know, see that we're more than just basketball players. You know, there's more to us. There's different layers, and definitely want to show people, the guys on our team, you know, that we have on, you know, what their interests are and how they operate daily, and what things they like to do. I think fans, you know, like to hear about that stuff, and we'll get to more guests, maybe some Philly legends. My boy Kevin Hayes, if we can get him on there, well, we'll see. But you know, we like to have a good time, relax, cool environment, and let people know that there's more to some of us than just putting on a uniform.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Is Furkan Korkmaz the funniest guy on the team?
He's funny. He is very funny. I think with his broken English and you know, his mannerisms, and, you know, Furky Magic, man, that dude's he's a legend.
Yeah, Ferk is awesome, man. Before we get out of here, what I like to do with the guests that come on, as a last, you know, kind of goodbye, I usually like to tailor it to who we have on the show. But, you know, for those out there that may be listening, maybe those who aspire to maybe be in the NBA one day, or grow up and become a professional athlete, what is one piece of advice from Georges Niang, the staple piece of advice that you would give out there to anybody who is looking to kind of take the same route you did?
You know, I think the biggest thing is, if you're passionate about something, and a lot of people say that they, you know, want to be a professional athlete, or they want to do this. No, I'm talking about something that like you feel greatly and deeply about, because when shit gets hard and you're like, I don't really want to do that anymore, then you weren't really that passionate about it. Like, I think about, you know, my journey and what I had to go through. And there were times where I doubted myself and didn't think I was good enough. But those are the times where you really find out if this was really meant for you, or if you really want this. Because in those times, if you just refuse to quit, I promise you, have grit and don't give up on yourself, you will see yourself achieve your dreams day by day. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. This dream for me to make the NBA took me, you know, 15 plus years. And what did I tell you after year 3 that it seemed like it was going to happen? No. Year 7, I didn't think it was going to happen. After year 10, I didn't think it was going to happen. And then one day, it's like you get from someone read a quote that basically was saying that at 33 degrees or at 31 degrees, something is still frozen. And then 1 degree, one day, at 32 degrees, you know what I mean? Things start to melt. And that's all it takes, is 1 degree of change, something to fall into place, and you can slowly start. And then after a while, like, the degrees go up and things start melting a little faster, and, you know, things happen for yourself. So if I could give advice, is if you're really passionate about something, don't give up on it, no matter how hard it gets. I promise you, when you achieve your goals, you won't ever regret it. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. You're going to doubt yourself. That's natural. But keep on pushing, and there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, George, thank you so much for taking time to join us today, man. I really do appreciate it. You're always welcome back on the show. A lot of good stuff here today. Get well soon. Go out there and help us win some more ball games, and keep being you. Keep on, you know, pumping up the crowd, being Georges Niang. We really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.